with rates and unit rates. So sometimes they give us a table and they ask us to go through and find the rate from the table. So here's what you have to realize, that really as we're working with the table, these are X's and these are Y's. As you guys get older, we're going to actually be going through and graphing these and then finding a rate from the graph. So you have to understand that those are your X's and your Y's. Okay, and then the other thing that you have to understand is when you're working with a rate, unless they verbally ask for it in a certain way, you are going to do your Y's as your top number and your X's as your bottom. And the reason we do that is as we get a little bit older is we start working with slope. And we have to realize that Y's are our top number of our slope. So when we look at these, just to begin with, I want you to realize that when you're working with a table, we're actually working with a function. And if you look at this, we're going to notice that there's a pattern that's happening here. So 2 miles to 4 miles, well, that would be a change in 2. So we were adding. So 4 miles to 6 miles, that was a change in 2. And 6 miles to 8 miles, that was a change in 2 or adding 2. And we'll notice that in the amount of money, also we have a sequence happening here where it increases by 24. Increases by 24. So you can see that there's a pattern as we're working through a table. Okay, so I just wanted you to understand that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and find our rate from the table. So here we have, for our units, we have distances in miles and our money in dollars. So we're working with dollars and miles. So a situation here might be, where would we ever do dollars and miles? It might be maybe where a parent or somebody working their job maybe gets paid so much money per mile that they travel. Like a truck driver, for example. They probably are making maybe a set amount for a trip, but then they're also making so much money per mile that they travel. So here, dollars per mile. So our dollars were, we can pick any scenario, and I'm going to show you on this one that it doesn't matter which one we pick. So I'm going to pick the first one, $24 per 2 miles. Okay, so now if I change that to its unit rate, I would do my 24 divided by 2, which would give me $12 per mile. Okay, or we could write it like this. Okay, so just to prove on this one, and this is the only one I'll do it, is had I picked a different set of these numbers, maybe I picked, we'll do this very last one. Had I worked with that one, let's see if we get the exact same rate. So here I would do my $96 per 8 hours. Okay, so let's check our division on that. So 96, oops. 96 divided by 8 gives me 12 once again. So I just found out that this is still $12 per 1 hour. It's an ugly dollar sign. Okay, so we get the same answer no matter what set we use. But the key thing on this is that we have to make sure that our unit rate, most often, unless they specifically ask for a certain order, is we're going to take our Y's, which are our bottom, off of the table, divided by the top. Okay. Distance per dollar probably doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But obviously, if you don't have a lot of background knowledge, neither does dollars per mile. Okay, so for now, take your bottom divided by the top. Okay, so let's try another one. So here I have miles and seconds. So we want to know how many miles per second we can go. Not to say that somebody might not want to know seconds per mile, but we're going to do miles per second. So we're going to take our Y's, which are our bottom, and I'm just going to go ahead and take this one. It doesn't matter which set I use. So I'm going to take the top number, 28.8, or not the top, the bottom number, and write it as my top number. And that was my miles over 6 seconds. Okay, so to get our unit rate, we're going to divide that out. 28.8 divided by 6. And when I do that, I get 4.8 miles per 1 second. Or I could write it out like this, 4.8 miles per second. Okay, both of those are acceptable. All right, so I'm going to give you guys one. Remember, it's your bottom number divided by your top number. It's our Y's and our X's. And it'll make more sense as we start working with things that are a little more advanced. Okay, so here I have packages and servings. So like if I were to read through that, I've got 3 packages will give me 13.5 servings. So maybe this is working, I don't know, maybe like potato chips or something like that. So I want to know the servings per package. So if I had 1 package, how many servings, how many people would I be able to serve? So go ahead and pause your video and work your way through this one, finding the unit rate. And you can choose any of those 4 sets to use. So you should have ended up with 4.5 servings per package. So we could serve 4.5 people for 1 package of whatever this is, potato chips, onion rings, whatever it is. Okay, so that's